Today we have an exclusive interview with Mike, who happened to be at the Trader Joe's in Silver Lake on July 21st, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what happened to him on that day.
I went into Trader Joe and I was doing a little shopping for my mom, and I was checking out and I heard a screech in the car, and I went out to see what was happening, and a gunman came out with a gun, started shooting at the police was shooting back, and then a shooter came into Trader Joe and started shooting again, and then I ran for cover, and the gunman, one of the employees says that the gunman was in the Trader Joe, so I didn't know what to do. I called my mom to tell her I was okay, and to tell her the gunman was in the Trader Joe.
Where were you when you called your mom? At what part of the store?
I was laying on my stomach by the cases of water,
And then
not knowing what to do.
And then what happened?
So the gunman came in and was,
Continue. You're
he
doing
was,
fine.
he was in the Trader Joe, and so everybody was panicking, so they didn't know what to do, and he knew that people were hiding in the back, and to tell him to come forward, and we all got together, and he held us hostage for 4 hours.
When he came in, did he tell anything to anybody?
He said that he wasn't going to hurt anybody.
And how did he say that?
He just looked around, people that were left over, like 13 people, including me, was saying, I'm not going to hurt anybody, I'm not going to hurt anybody.
Now, was he wounded?
Yes, he was. He had 2 shots in one of his arm, from the police, from getting shot.
Okay. And where were we after you were by the water? What did he do next, or what did he have you do next?
Well, he was losing a lot of blood, and then he went and he sat on me, on my back.
Did he know you were there?
He knew I was there.
And he still sat on you?
Yes.
And was the blood dripping on you?
Yes. It was dripping on me a lot, and I didn't know what to do. So.
Did you just stand still there?
Yes, I was. When he sat on me, I felt heaviness on my body. So.
About how long was he on you?
Like 30 minutes.
He sat on you for 30 minutes?
Yes, or more.
Wow. So after, did he ever get up?
He pushed himself up on me and to go and lay and sit on the floor.
And then what happened?
And then a lady, diabetic lady, helped him calm down. So.
Was he aggravated?
Sort of, yeah. The detective that he was talking to on the phone.
So he started making connection with the police?
Yeah, the diabetic lady, made a phone call and got the detective, and then he was aggressive, you know.
So when did the lady use her phone to get a hold of the officers or the police?
Yes.
Okay.
And then his family and his relatives.
Did she put it on speakerphone?
Yes.
Were the people who were there, were they calm or were they panicking?
They were panicking, looking around this, to see what was going to happen, and then he asked me to use my phone to call his family and friends.
Did you get a hold of anybody for him? Did you dial for him?
I dialed the number for him, yes, I did.
Okay.
And then I asked him, do you need anything? And he says, I need a bottle of water. Ripped me open a bottle of water. And then I said, anything else? He says, orange juice and a bottle of Jack Daniels.
And did you go get those items for him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so you brought it back to him?
Yes, and I opened the orange juice up for him, and I poured it in his mouth.
How did he look to you at that point?
He looked pale and he was about to collide. He lost a lot of blood.
Okay. Did he feel like, what was he asking the officers to do?
He was, the officers were asking him to let some people go, and then he was asking the detective that, what am I going to get out of it? What are you gonna do for me?
And then what did the officer say?
That the gunman wanted to find out if his grandma was okay from the hospital, and she was in the ER,
Okay.
but they couldn't get a hold of her. So
Okay. Did he ask to get a hold of anybody else?
when I made phone calls, he was contacting them,
Okay.
but I didn't know who they
Were you dialing for him?
Yes, I was. I was dialing like 213 numbers, mostly 213s.
Okay. So then what happened?
So the gunman was, I don't know, he was like more frustrated from there came in a tank with wheels and with a machine gun on the top, so he wanted that to be taken away and was frustrated and said, I will kill anybody in here if you don't take that away. So they didn't take it away, so he got more frustrated, and the lady that was diabetes was telling him to calm down and we'll get that machine out of the way. So
Do you feel that she helped calm him down?
of course, yeah, I'm 100% she helped him out.
When you brought back the water and the Jack Daniels to him, how close were you to him?
Really close, like on his side,
Right next to him?
yeah. And then I opened the Jack Daniels and I poured it in his mouth, and then he wanted me to pour the Jack Daniels on his wounds, the bullet holes he had in his arm, and then wrap it with my shirt on his wounds so he won't bleed more.
So in other words, he asked you to take your shirt off
Yes.
your back and use it as a tourniquet to put it around
Yes.
his arm so he
Yes.
would stop bleeding?
Yes.
Okay. Did it work?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then when I turned around to see the exit of the Trader Joe, I saw a young woman on her stomach. So I asked the gunman if I can go and check on her to see if she was okay, and he said yes, go ahead and do that. So I had to bring another employee to help me out, and I went to check on her and tell her, ma'am, are you okay? You okay? You okay?
When you
By
when you went
jiggling
when you
her.
went to go see her, how was she?
She was face on her stomach, the head on one side, and the arm on one shelf. And I was going, ma'am, are you okay? You okay? And then I checked her pulse with 2 fingers, and there was no pulse. And I told the employee that she was gone.
Did you leave her face down?
No, we turned her over. We turned her over, and so I couldn't lift her up. She was heavy.
Did you leave her there, or did you just?
No, we didn't leave her there.
What did you do
I
next?
helped. So the employee was grabbing her by her legs, by her ankles, and I was trying to pick her up by her arms, and I couldn't do it because I had her blood and the gunman's blood too. And so he dragged her body from where she was dead to the exit of Trader Joe.
Okay. How did you feel when you saw that?
I felt kind of sad and crying for her and the family.
What happened next?
So we ended up taking the body, and by him dragging the body, I helped him push the body, and then he went out. I stayed in, and then I went back to the gunman.
So the employee left the store.
Yes,
Okay, and you stayed in.
yes.
And what did you do next?
Then I was, well, the diabetic lady was trying to calm the gunman down, and said, "You gotta turn yourself in." So I asked if I could do anything else, and to get the handcuffs. The handcuffs.
Whose idea was to get handcuffs?
It was the diabetic lady. She wanted to put the handcuffs so she could tell the detective that she was going to put the handcuffs on him, and then step by step by step.
Okay, so did the detectives agree to that?
Yes, they did. I was there listening to it on the speakerphone.
Okay. So when where did you go to get the handcuffs?
I asked the gunman if it was okay for me to pick up the handcuffs by the exit of the Trader Joe. And I went with my hands up, and I went and I asked the SWAT team, or whoever was out there, the SWAT police, to hand over me the handcuffs, and one of them was telling me to come out, and I said, "I can't do that. I'm sorry. What are you trying to get me killed?" I told him. And,
Why did you say that? Do you think the gun was pointed at you?
Yes, I was thinking that the gunman had the pistol aimed at my back.
So you asked for the handcuffs.
Yes. After 6, 7 times I asked, and finally they threw it, and I picked them up, and I brought it over to the gunman. And then the diabetic lady put one handcuff on one hand and the other one on the other, and locked. And then after she took the gun from him, and
He still had the gun in his hands?
yeah, he still had a gun in his hand when he had the handcuffs on.
Okay.
So she got that from him and told the detective that I'm going to put the gun in a Trader Joe bag, and then that was it.
Did he need help standing up?
No, he could get up on his own.
And then how did it end?
It ended, well, the detective wanted more people to come out, but he wouldn't do it, and so we all 5 walked out of the Trader Joe, and then we got tackled by one of the SWAT police, and I got thrown on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when he came out, they took the group of people and you guys got tackled on the floor.
It just happened so fast that he came out of nowhere and tackled all 4 of us, and then took the gunman somewhere else, and we ended up in the parking lot.
And where did you go after that?
We ended up going to, I was asking the SWAT police where we're going, and he says that we're going up the street.
How did you feel going through this? You just started off shopping for the day, and then a gunman comes into the store. How did you feel through this whole
I felt
ordeal?
disturbed and upset.
I think some of the things that you did were acts of bravery. I know maybe that's not how you feel about it, but you did a lot of things that I think might have helped a lot of people's lives. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I do feel that. And when they took us to the church, they interviewed us, and I couldn't take my mom's car back from where it was in the parking lot of Trader Joe for 2 days.
How long did they hold you an interview for?
An hour they held me in the church.
Is there anything else you want to?
No,
Say?
that's all. That's all.
Okay, well, thank you so much for telling us your story.
You're welcome.
Thank you.